Welcome back to the deep dive. Last time, you might recall, we left Dante in, well, quite a spot.
Yeah, facing the Furies at the gates of Dis in the ninth canto. Pretty terrifying stuff. Very mythological.
Totally. And it took that heavenly messenger to actually bust open the gates, right, leading him down into the sixth circle of hell.
Exactly. And what always gets me is how Dante just weaves that pagan mythology right into his Christian view of things.
It's such a skillful blend, isn't it? Sort of walking this tightrope between two huge traditions.
It really is. And that mix of the familiar and the, well, maybe unexpected, it just keeps going. It pulls you in, makes these big ideas more accessible.
For sure. Which brings us nicely to today's deep dive, Canto 10 of the Divina Commedia.
Right. Still in the sixth circle, still got those flaming tombs everywhere. The heretics.
Yeah, grim setting, definitely. But, this canto, it actually gives us some, I think, really useful ways to look at our own lives, our own journeys.
That's a really important point. It's less about just pointing fingers at historical figures and more about exploring universal human stuff.
Exactly. It feels surprisingly relevant. Even though it's hell, the interactions, the emotions, they echo things we deal with. Beliefs, relationships, navigating life's messiness.
Dante's always digging into what makes us tick, even when the backdrop is, well, extreme.
So that's our mission today. We're going to unpack Canto 10, look at what happens, the interesting little details, and really try to pull out those lessons that might shed some light on our own paths.
Finding that sort of ancient wisdom in the drama, like a guidepost from centuries ago.
Yeah, and it's interesting, these lessons come from talking to heretics, right? People condemned for their beliefs.
Which adds another layer, doesn't it? Makes you think about our own convictions, how they shape things, how we deal with people who see the world differently.
Okay, so let's dive in. Dante and Virgil, they're walking through this landscape, open tombs, fire everywhere.
And inside, the heretics. Specifically, those who denied the soul's immortality.
And their punishment. Being trapped forever in these burning tombs. There's a stark kind of justice to it, wouldn't you say?
Oh, definitely. A powerful irony. They thought death was the absolute end, and now they get this endless, fiery non-ending.
It makes you pause, right? Think about the maybe unseen consequences of our own strongly held beliefs.
Absolutely. And then, out of one tomb, two figures emerge. Farinata degli Uberti and Cavalcanti de Cavalcanti.
Farinata. Wow. He just rises up, head and chest visible, so much pride, so defiant, even in torment.
Yeah, he seems completely unbroken. What strikes me is that incredible sense of self he still has.
Even there, stripped of everything earthly.
Exactly. His aristocratic bearing, his political fire, it's still there. It really shows how deep identity runs, how patterns stick.
It makes you wonder what core parts of you would endure no matter what.
Right. And then you've got Cavalcante from the same tomb.
Such a contrast. He's not defiant, he's just consumed with worry. About his son, Guido.
It's this incredibly raw human moment, parental anxiety cutting right through the hellscape.
So what does putting those two together in the same boat, what does that tell us?
Well, they share the same intellectual sin, right? But their reactions, their focus, completely different. Cavalcante's worry just screams about the power of family love. That
Nothing
bond,
in hell, yeah.
the universal thing, that kind of connection. It makes you reflect, what relationships are your anchors? Who holds that kind of meaning for you?
And then the canto throws in this really strange twist. Farinata explains their situation.
Ah, yes, the knowledge paradox.
They can see the future, but they're totally blind to the present. They have no idea what's happening now back on Earth.
It's a cruel limitation, isn't it? And maybe a commentary on a certain kind of intellectual focus.
How so?
Well, maybe they focus too much on a kind of foresight in life, and now they get this twisted version. They can see what's coming, but they're agonizingly cut off from the now.
Like a warning about intellectual arrogance. Thinking you know it all.
Sort of, yeah. Or just the limits of what we can know. Knowing the future doesn't mean understanding the present. Makes you think about where we put our own focus, doesn't it?
It really does. And that blindness to the present leads to that heartbreaking misunderstanding with Cavalcante.
Oh, yeah. Dante uses a past tense verb talking about Guido.
And Cavalcante just leaps to the worst conclusion. That Guido's dead. Because he can't know otherwise.
Such a small thing, a verb tense, causing immense pain. It highlights how fragile communication can be, even for us.
How easily misunderstandings happen.
Exactly. Reminds us to aim for clarity, for empathy. Think about how our words land, especially with people we care about.
Beyond the personal drama, though, there's the politics. Farinata, the Ghibelline leader, Dante, a gulf, exiled by the other side.
Yeah, sworn enemies in life. Yet here, in this fiery tomb,
They have this surprisingly civil chat, respectful even.
it's really striking. It suggests maybe that earthly divisions can be transcended, seen from a different perspective, perhaps.
Or maybe in the face of a shared horrible fate.
Perhaps. It definitely poses a question for us. Are there divides in our lives, disagreements we're clinging to, that could maybe be overcome for something more important?
Food for thought. And let's circle back to Farinata's pride. Even enduring eternal punishment, he maintains this dignity.
It's remarkable, isn't it? A refusal to be completely broken by his fate.
How do you read that? What's the significance?
I think it speaks to the resilience of the human spirit, a core self that remains no matter the external horror.
So it's about maintaining integrity even when things are terrible.
Yeah, exactly. It prompts us to think about our own inner resources. How do we hold on to our sense of self, our dignity, when we hit those really tough patches in life?
Okay, so wrapping up our thoughts on Canto 10 for this deep dive. Several key things seem really relevant to our own life journeys.
Definitely. First, that idea of enduring identity. Farinata, Cavalcante. They're still recognizably them.
Yeah, it makes you think about how our choices, our experiences, they're constantly shaping who we are, maybe in ways that really last.
Absolutely. Our actions, beliefs, reactions. They build our life story, mold our character beyond just the here and now. Think about what you're going through now and how it's shaping the person you're becoming.
Then there's that paradox of knowledge, seeing the future, blind to the present,
A potent reminder of our own limits, right?
and the danger of thinking we have all the answers. Intellectual arrogance.
Have you ever felt totally sure about something, then realized you're missing the obvious thing right in front of you?
Oh, constantly. It's human, isn't it?
Oh,
We want certainty, but Canto 10 nudges us towards maybe a bit more intellectual humility, staying open.
and Cavalcante, that raw power of love for his son.
Even in hell, that bond is everything. It just highlights how crucial those anchoring relationships are in our own lives, the ones that give meaning.
Cherish those connections, right? They're what get us through.
They really are, those anchors in the storm.
And the dialogue between Dante and Farinata, the potential to transcend divisions. Yeah, if these bitter enemies can find common ground, even there, what about the divisions in our own world, our own lives?
Are there opportunities to build bridges we haven't seen?
Well, it challenges us,
Yeah.
Is holding on to old fights really serving us? Maybe focusing on shared humanity or higher values opens up new paths?
And finally, Farinata's dignity in suffering, that resilience.
How do we cultivate that inner strength, that ability to keep our integrity when things get tough?
It points to that inner core, doesn't it? Facing adversity without losing yourself.
Exactly. His example, even in that grim context, can inspire us to find that resilience, uphold our values through life's storms.
So as you continue navigating your own unique divine comedy of life, here's a final thought from Canto 10.
Yeah.
Dante's journey isn't just theology from long ago. It's a deep look at the human condition, right? So think about this. What unexpected encounters, maybe even negative experiences in your life, might actually hold the most profound lessons? What are the burning tombs, the challenges, the difficulties you're facing that might actually offer surprising insights if you dare to look closer?
That's a powerful question.
Yeah.
Often it is in the struggles, things we see as failures, that we learn the most important truths about ourselves.
Indeed. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the 10th canto.
Until next time, keep looking for those insights.
Keep seeking them on your own journey.